My. Well, I'm streaming live according to this. Is it working? Let's find out. Nope, it says it's... Oh. The internet can totally see you now. Except they can't because I have no... Am I streaming on Ian's? Oh, that would be embarrassing. Let's see. How could I be streaming on his? Oh, it seems I am on. Let's see here. My. I'm streaming live according to this. Oh, is it working? Let's find out. Nope, it says it's... Mute that. Okay. Hello, everybody. It looks like we have a black screen. My apologies for that. Goodness gracious. I thought I would just do something fun for my days off. I have for you some real American ghost stories. They are from a book. Let's see, I will find it. Called The Best Ghost Stories by various authors. So I'm not sure who compiled these, but they are rather old. It's off Gutenberg. Let's see here. A Genuine Ghost. Dayton, Ohio, March 25th. No year given, sorry. 1,000 people surrounded the graveyard in Miamisburg, a town near here, every night to witness the antics of what appears to be a genuine ghost. There is no doubt about the existence of the apparition, as Mayor Marshall, the revenue collector, and hundreds of prominent citizens all testify of having seen it. Last night, several hundred people, armed with clubs and guns, assaulted the specter, which appeared to be a woman in white. Clubs, bullets, and shot tore through the air, in which the mystic figure floated without disconcerting it in the least. A portion of the town turned out en masse today and began exhuming all the bodies in the cemetery. The remains of the Bus family, composed of 3 people, have already been exhumed. The town is visited daily by hundreds of strangers, and none are disappointed as the apparition is always on duty promptly at 9 o'clock. The strange figure was at once recognized by the inhabitants of the town as a young lady supposed to have been murdered several years ago. Her attitude while drifting among the graves is one of deep thought, with the head inclined forward and hands clasped behind. And I see I found the year. It's 1884. Boy, it must have been serious if they dug up the whole dang graveyard, don't you think? Let's see. Hi, April. April dropped in. Yay. I'm going to just read some more. If you have anything to let me know. I'm just going to read and then check the chat. The next one is The Baggageman's Ghost. The corpse of the passengers killed in the disaster up at Spuiten, Doivel, I'm not sure who would ever name a town that, but okay, was fetched down here and laid out in the room. Was darkened and I could just make out the storage room, said the Grand Central Depot baggage man. That's what gives it the name of morgue. Some of the boys got scared. See, I can't edit that out when I mess up now. Some of the boys got scared of going in after that, especially in the dark. And a lot of stories were started about spooks. We had a helper, a drunken chap that didn't know whether he saw a thing or dreamt it, and he swore to the toughest of yarns. He says he went in to get a trunk. It was a whopper, and he braced himself for a big strain. But when he gripped it, it come up just as if there was nothing in it more than air or gas. That unexpected kind of a lift is like kicking at nothing. It's hurtful, don't you know? I should think so. Well, Joe felt as lightheaded as the trunk, he said, but he brought it out. When he was putting it down, he was stunned to see a ghost sitting straddle of it. What did the ghost look like? Joe was so scared that he can't tell, except it had grave clothes on, and it went out of sight as soon as he got out into the daylight. Floated off, and at the same instant the trunk became as heavy as such a trunk generally is. Some of us believe Joe's story, and some don't, and he's one of them that does. He throwed up his job rather than go into the morgue again. If he saw that, that would be interesting. Oh, thank you, April. She says, I love your stories. I really enjoy doing this. I had today off. It's parent-teacher conference at my school, and I didn't have to go. So I didn't have to work today. These are all little short stories. I'll read a few more. I was just seeing if I could set up a live stream. Oh, another loud truck. Those are the bane of my existence. As well as my computer. I think I need to take it apart and clean it. It's got a very noisy fan at the moment, which really makes recording a pain. And that was really a loud truck that kept going. All right, here we go. Drummers see a specter. The last man... Oh, this is from the St. Louis Globe-Democrat, October 6th, 1887. The last man in the world to be accused of a belief in the supernatural would be your go-ahead, hard-headed American drummer or traveling man. Yet here is a plain tale of how not only one but two of the Western fraternity saw a genuine ghost in broad daylight a few years ago. That was from the editor. Jackson, Missouri, October 6th, at a place on the Turnpike Road between Cape Girardeau and Jackson, is what is familiarly known as Spook's Hollow. The place is situated 4 miles from the Cape and is awfully dismal looking, where the road curves gracefully around a high bluff. 2 drummers representing a single leading wholesale house of St. Louis were recently making the drive from Jackson to the Cape when their attention was suddenly attracted at the Spook's Hollow by a white and airy object which arose in its peculiar form so as to be plainly visible, and then maneuvered in every imaginable manner, finally taking a zigzag wayward journey through the low, dismal-looking surroundings, disappearing suddenly into the mysterious region from whence it came. More than one incident of dreadful experience has been related of this gloomy abode, and the place is looked upon by the midnight tourist and the lonesome citizen on his nocturnal travels as an unpleasant spot, isolated from the beautiful country which surrounds it. Well, it seems it really did live up to its name. If you're going to name something Spook's Hollow, there's probably something there, or you'll imagine there is. They sounded like hard-cut men, but still saw that. All right. I'll keep going. Just for April. She's the only one here. Mystery of the Coins. Dr. Funk was especially anxious to have an opportunity to see and talk with Mr. Beecher, in the hope that light would be thrown on the mystery which surrounds a previous manifestation through the spirit of one Jack Rakestraw. Oh my goodness, that's my daughter. Hello?
Hi, are you at work?
No, I'm at home. I don't have a car.
You don't have a car?
Nope, walk home.
I want to.
I'm sorry, I don't have a car.
Well,
My apologies to everybody. That kind of startled me.
okay.
Okay.
Is Liz at home?
She's not here, no, and she's not going to pack up the baby to come get you.
I know, I'm just... Okay.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, guys. Ha 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 ha. Well, that was interesting. Okay. Back to the story, I suppose. Though the spirit of one Jack Rakestraw, who says he used to lead the choir in one of Mr. Beecher's churches, but frankly admits that he cannot remember exactly where the church was located. Even spirits have a way of forgetting things, spiritualists declared. Mr. Funk was informed that Mr. Beecher was troubled because the publisher had failed to return a coin known as the Widow's Mite, which he had borrowed some years ago from the late Professor Charles E. West, a well-known numismatist. Okay. To make a cut to illustrate a dictionary. Dr. Funk supposed the coin had been returned a long time ago, but upon looking the matter up, found it in a drawer of a safe among some old papers, exactly as Mr. Rakestraw maintained. When Mr. Beecher appeared in person, so far as he could determine, Dr. Funk asked him several direct questions, to which the replies, he admits, were somewhat sublime. Though Dr. Funk has found the long-lost coin, which, by the way, is said to be worth $2,500. Ooh, and that was over 100 years ago, so it would be worth quite a bit now. He's not certain to whom it should be returned, now that Professor West is dead and his collection of coins sold. Should the widow's mite go to Professor West's heirs or the purchaser of the collection? A question which has yet remained unanswered. That is a matter I am leaving to be determined by the Society for Physical Research and Mrs. Piper, who ought to be able to learn from the spirit world what disposition Professor West wishes to have made of the coin, said Dr. Funk. It is at any rate a matter that does not appear to concern the spirit of Mr. Beecher. So, they're going to use a medium to find out where Professor West wishes this very expensive coin to go to. I wonder if he left it, surprisingly, to the medium. Okay, let's see. Oh, we don't want to read about Mr. Beecher again. How about Maryland ghosts? For 40 years, the Reverend Dr. B has been the rector of a prominent parish on the eastern shore. He had, when the scenes recorded below happened 22 years ago, a mission charge 16 miles distant from the town in which he resided, and he was therefore constantly traveling between these two places. About 6 miles distant was a country residence of Judge S., a well-known and venerable parisher of the worthy doctor. The sod had been turned above this gentleman's grave only about 6 weeks, when Dr. B chanced to return from his mission, charged in company with a friend. It was broad daylight, just about sunset, and not far from Judge S.'s gate, when a carriage drawn by white horses passed them rapidly from behind and was soon out of sight. "That fellow must be in a hurry to reach C," remarked the doctor. "Did you notice anything peculiar about that vehicle?" inquired his companion. "Only that it moves very quietly. I heard no sound as it went by." "Nor did I," said his friend. "Neither rattling of the wheels nor noise of hooves. It is certainly strange." The matter, however, was soon forgotten in other conversations, and they had traveled perhaps a mile when suddenly the same horse and carriage passed them as before. Nothing was discernible of the driver except his feet, the carriage curtains hiding his body. There was no crossroad by which a vehicle in front could possibly have gotten behind without making a circuit of many miles and consuming several hours. Yet there was not the shadow of a doubt as to the identity of the vehicle, and the two gentlemen gazed at each other in blank amazement, and with a certain defined sense of awe, which precludes any discussion of the matter, particularly as the horse was all to appear the well-known white habitual driven by the deceased judge. A half a mile brought them in sight of Judge S.'s grave, when for the third time the ghost team dashed by in the same dreadful, mysterious silence. This time it turned in full view into the gate. Without a word of comment, the doctor quickened his horse's speed and reached the gate only a few yards behind the silent driver. Both gentlemen peered eagerly up the long, open lane leading to the house, but neither carriage nor wheel tracks was visible, though it was still clear daylight, and there was no outlet from the lane, nor could any vehicle in the time occupied accomplish half the distance. The peculiar feature of this strange incident are that it was equally and simultaneously evident to two witnesses, both entirely unprepared for such manifestation, and differing wildly in temperament, habits of life, I don't want to know about their habits of their life, mental capacity, and educational attainment, and by mere accident making this journey together, that to this day both of them, witnesses to be noted of impeachable credibility, attested it and fully corroborated each other, but without being able to suggest the slightest explanation. Okay. Oh, hi, William. How's it going? I am just trying this out. What am I using? Let's see. I'm using a new, what's it called? XSplit broadcast. I don't know if you can add people into live streams with that. But we're just kind of reading stories right now, and seeing how it goes. I got to figure out some way to get a video. Screen capture, that won't help. Oh, maybe we can put a picture in here. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, that was my dog. I might have to go change my pants. Okay. Let's see if that helped. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Bones! Honest to Pete. Okay. Here's one called An Apparition and Death. The old family seat of Tees, one of the most prominent names in the community, is not far from the scenes of the above mentioned adventure. All in this region of lovely situations and charming water views, its site is one of the most beautiful. The brick mansion, with all the strangely mixed comforts and discomforts of ancient architecture, rears its roof up from an elevated lawn, while the silvery thread of a landlocked stream winds nearly around the whole. Over the further bank dance the sparkling waters of a broad estuary, and a truck. They have to be very loud, or else their owners don't feel important. Flashing in the glance of the sunshine. Oh my gosh. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to commit K9 aside. Bones, stop it! There's nobody out there. Come here.
Oh my gosh.
I'm live streaming. Can you take your dog?
Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I did tell him. And wait, that's why you don't want us to do one.
Well, that was lovely. I'm so sorry. Okay. While the silvery threads of landlocked stream winds nearly around the hole, over the further bank dance the sparkling water of the broad estuary. Flashing in the glance of the sunlight, or tossing its white-capped billows in angry mimicry of the sea. The gleam of white sails is never lacking to add variety and picturesqueness to the scene. In the dead, hushed calm of a summer evening, when the lift oar rests on the gunwale, unwilling to disturb with its dip the glassy surface, one has a strange, dreamy sense of being suspended in space. The sky, in all its changing beauty, being accurately reflected in inimitable depth by the still water, until the charm is broken by the splash and ripple of a school of nomadic alewives, or the gliding sinuous fin of a piratical shark. In this lovely home, it was wont for the family to assemble on the occasion of certain domestic celebrations, and it was at one of these that the following incident occurred. All were present except one member, who was detained by sickness at her residence, 15 miles away. It was an early afternoon that one of the ladies standing at the open window suddenly exclaimed, "Why, there's Aunt Millie crossing the flower garden." The party approached the window and beheld, in great surprise, the lady, in her ordinary costume, slowly strolling among the flowers. She paused and looked earnestly at the group, her features plainly visible, and then turned and disappeared amidst the shrubbery with the Knights of Neath, no trace of her presence being discoverable. It was natural that a gloom fell upon the company. A few hours later, a messenger arrived with the intelligence of her death. The time of her apparition and the time of her death coincide. Dun, dun, dun.
I have to eat now.
Okay, eat. You're making noise, is that why? Okay, well, this was a fun little experiment and some fun stories to tell. And I don't know quite what you're talking about, William. But, oh yes, April, we do have a pupper here. And he rules the roost. So, anyway, thank you so much for coming and seeing me, you two. And I'm going to try this again. This was actually fun. And it didn't, well, apart from the disruptions, it went pretty well with the stories. So, I guess I'll leave this up. Maybe. All right. Join me again next time, and I will have another. Tomorrow is another Sweeney Todd, and I have some wonderful stories coming up, including one of William's. So, that's the way it goes. So quoth this raven.
Later.
Did it end? I gotta figure out how to turn it off now.